Hey, this is Rob, and we're here doing the news from Cannes, and we're really lucky to have Kathrin Lausch with us today. She's the CEO of her own agency.
Yes.
Kathrin, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm
You're
very
welcome.
excited to be
You're
here.
welcome. So please tell us a little bit about the agency. I'd love to hear a little
So
more.
it's called Studio Cadeaux. We're a global boutique, we say. We're within Stagwell, and we're in New York, but we're global. So the sweet spot is that we have the capacity to be in 100 and something countries, but right now we're just doing Europe, Asia, and New York for now.
Yeah, and without, you don't have to name client names, but
Beauty,
what
fashion,
vertical?
luxury.
Beauty,
Yeah,
fashion,
that is
luxury.
the deep down vertical, beauty, fashion, luxury. And luxury is such a funny word. We call it aspiration now, because what defines luxury? It's something you aspire to have more than the typical luxury that as we know it.
Got it. Cool. And so we're in Cannes,
Yes.
and it's beautiful, and there's a lot going on, media, but really creativity.
Yeah.
And so the conversations that people are talking so much about is, what does the future of creativity look like? Now you pull in AI.
Right.
Yeah, how are you thinking about it? I mean, you've got luxury brands you work with, fashion brands you work with. How are you thinking about creativity and technology?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a conversation that everybody is bringing into, what else can you offer? Do you do AI? It's interesting because, it has to look good in my verticals, right? Like everything has to be premium and look good, and AI is still a little bit challenging because it's not quite on that level of, identifiable, it looks like a human, or it is pristine, or the product looks amazing. So it's questionable. What's good about AI in some ways is the automation, if you need it, because there's so much content that needs to go out, and the personalization, of course, that is interesting. The conversations we're having right now, especially in the beauty space, some fashion as well, in the beauty space, it's about diversity, which is interesting, to have the potential, maybe not right away, but eventually, to have people see themselves actually as an avatar AI applying makeup, looking just like themselves, versus like the typical, 3 models identifying different color schemes and maybe ethnicities. There's so much blend now in the world that most people really feel like, oh, my eyes are not that shape. I don't know what that is. That hair color is funny, but I want to go with blue or red, and I don't see anybody doing that eyeshadow with that color. So being able to put yourself as an avatar into applications, into content, and getting the right match is where things are going in some ways. Fashion, of course, loves the idea of doing fittings that way, so sizing, so the return rates are going down, because especially in the pandemic, everybody ordered like 5 different sizes just to try it out, so minimizing that footprint, making sure we have like an idea of what this looks like, so people just buy, 1 item or maybe 2.
Yeah, I mean, a few different things you said that I want to kind of go a little deeper into. So that in fashion, right?
Right.
The creativity has to be perfect.
Yeah.
It has to be perfect. It has to be, and the fact that the AI maybe isn't there yet is interesting to think about.
Yeah.
Just the perfection element that's needed to have a cover of a fashion magazine with a luxury brand. That's interesting. So, the question is, overhyped, right amount of hyped, underhyped, what is the technology in the eyes of, just with a fashion hat on, is it not ready yet?
No, I mean, I think it's moving insanely fast, right? Like, so what I'm saying now, next week might be very different already. Somebody new launches something, and, people blend different technologies. AI teaches AI, so when the robots start learning from each other, it gets even faster. So it's real, it's happening, it's unstoppable. I mean, of course, there is the, do we want to have our first campaign launch that way, or first, like buying everything in that space? Not yet. It's moving fast. So I think it's something that we'll see in the next Cannes is going to be a huge amount of AI. There's going to be an AI movie. It's going to be AI this, AI that, AI collections.
AI
Yeah, possibly. I would think, I mean, it's just like Singularity is moving so fast, Is it presentable yet? No. I mean, there's a lot of, I launched my website on ChatGPT. It's bad. I wanted to do it just to kind of play with it. It is, especially for my world, it's in no way like amazing, I mean, fashion, beauty, luxury, people are like, what is going on? But I wanted to see how it works, and it's amazing that it's possible to write code with, open language. It's insane, but there's the to video thing that's interesting, like, text to video. So I think it's exciting to me, but it's also definitely worrisome in the sense of it's moving faster than we can even imagine in some
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah. And the other thing, I love the idea of like the imagination of like trying on and different shapes and different sizes and
Yeah.
shades and finding someone that looks like you, using the technology
Yeah.
to find a kinship to an avatar, and then you could try on. And I think that everybody is different, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
So the technology can help people.
It's
explore
definitely
their different-
creative and
Yes.
individualizing, looks, desires, styles for sure.
Yeah.
Which opens up like a whole lot of, people that didn't feel seen before. So it is kind of
Yeah.
equalizing.
So that's probably creating a ton of energy
Yeah.
at the agency, right? It's
Yeah.
like the creatives are excited because you'll probably also hear like creatives are nervous about it, but it sounds like
Yeah.
there's probably a lot of energy.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now we need good wranglers, right? Or whatever you want to call it, people that kind of prompt the right way, so it can't live on itself yet. I mean, you can't have a fashion show designed just by AI, but you can use it to supplement your ideas or make it better or something, right?
Yeah.
So if you're somebody that can use it and wrangles it the right way, it's an amazing tool. I think eventually, it is it is a potentially scary tool that can replace certain roles, but I think the trick is to kind of tame it and work with you and figure out a way of like partnering with AI versus seeing one or the other as exclusives.
Yeah, gotcha. So listen, you run a fashion agency. We're in France. Tell us a little bit about what's going on, like what trends we should be looking out for. We've got an audience out here who I'm sure is curious. What's next?
It's such an interesting blend. It's the high-low. We see not amazing things actually. It's not like the Palm d'Ors where we see the galas and everything. And there's a lot of walking involved. So I would think a lot of people have flip-flops somewhere. It's definitely also the pandemic, I think, created a sneaker frenzy that will never go away again. Everybody has like their sneaker look, the suit with the sneaker, the this and that. So we're all a little bit on a being able to run faster, escape faster kind of trend. The baggy pants everywhere, but it's too hot right now.
Right.
So I think the high-low. I think a lot of interesting shoppers take pride in having those loud, expensive brand pieces that might be seasonal or like maybe last a little longer, and then some like more lower end things that you can just throw out if it doesn't work anymore, or, falls apart.
Right, it's summer, but we're planning for the fall, right?
Yeah.
Think about the fall and the winter. Is the floor I mean, who knows? But is the fall going to be up fashion? Obviously, last year was athleisure wear, right?
Yeah.
So are we going to go back to more suits?
Sure, but I think the comfort that we learned in the pandemic will never go away, right? Just like people don't want to really get out of the house anymore because we're used to it in some ways. I think with the sneakers, comes that comfy. Everything is comfy, right? And the quality has to be good. It has to be fitting, but not too like stifling, I think the skinny jeans are definitely done, and we're going back to like baggier, hoodies, anything a little cozier. I think, I think that's going to stay.
Awesome. Well, that's always good.
There we go, right?
Yeah. Thank you. All right. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you so much.
That's the news.
Fun. Thank you.